Yes, we all know Bob Iger and his team are scrambling to turn things around for Snow White and prevent what could be a massive box office disaster. But even we didn't expect them to take things this far, stooping to what might just be the biggest scandal yet, altering skin tones to reshape the narrative. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel that doesn't shy away from exposing Hollywood's tricks. Nope, we dive straight into the chaos every single day to bring you what's really happening. And today, we've got a scandal that's making waves, allegations of whitewashing, but not in the way you'd typically expect. This time, it's all about Photoshop manipulation in Disney's Snow White marketing. Disney has a history of pulling stunts like this. And guess what? They're at it again. But don't just take our word for it. Hit that like button and let's break this down. According to That Park Place, a website you should definitely have bookmarked, Disney appears to have altered Rachel Zegler's skin tone in an international Snow White poster, making her look significantly paler. Now, why would they do that? Well, it seems like they're trying to make her resemble the classic fair-skinned animated version of the character. Zegler, who is of Colombian and white heritage, is noticeably lighter in the poster, sparking speculation that Disney is tweaking her appearance in marketing materials just ahead of the film's release on March 21st. And let's not forget, they still have to ride out the buzz around Captain America: Brave New World for another month. But here's where things get really ironic. A company that has pushed diversity and representation is now being called out for seemingly doing the exact opposite, modifying an actress's appearance to fit an outdated aesthetic. A new international poster for Snow White has surfaced, and we've got it right here. Take a close look. Does that really look like Rachel Zegler? Or has some digital magic been applied? Let us know what you think in the comments. Is Disney guilty of some serious hypocrisy here? We'll keep digging, but one thing's for sure. This controversy isn't going away anytime soon. When Rachel Zegler was first cast as Snow White, she made waves with a controversial statement, one that, quite frankly, no one had even asked for. She boldly declared that she wouldn't bleach her skin for the role, even though there wasn't a single widespread demand for such a thing. Yes, I am playing Snow White. No, I'm not bleaching my skin for the role, she said. And just like that, she put herself at the center of controversy. Let's be real. Before that, nobody was talking about this movie. Nobody was talking about her, and yet she made sure she became the conversation. Now, let's take a look. We all know what Rachel Zegler looks like, right? Boom, there she is. But here's where things get interesting. Compare that to the international Snow White poster and suddenly, something looks different. Oh, and it gets better. How about a time lapse? Who's up for that? Because we've got side-by-side comparisons, and you're going to want to see this. From left to right, you can literally watch the transformation happening. The first image looks like Zegler, but as you move along, things start to shift. Her skin tone gets lighter, the lighting effects start playing tricks, and suddenly, she's looking a whole lot closer to the animated version of Snow White. Now, before we go all in, let's pause. I'll admit, there's a small chance Disney didn't do this intentionally. But before I share my take, let's open up the panel. What do you all think? Is this just another overblown controversy, or is something actually happening here? Message. One argument is that Disney was simply trying to match the classic animated look. If you're an average viewer glancing at the poster, you might think, oh wow, that's a perfect live-action adaptation. And honestly, from a marketing perspective, that kind of makes sense. But here's where things get even weirder. Take a closer look at the coloring. The left side of the poster has a strong blue overlay, part of that classic Hollywood teal and orange effect. This means Gal Gadot, who plays the evil queen, actually ends up looking darker than Rachel Zegler in the poster. Now that is an interesting choice, isn't it? All right, I'll say it. I don't think this one is 100% intentional. But let's open up the floor. Vash, what's your take? Is this just a case of marketing doing its thing, or is Disney pulling another sneaky move? So what's really going on here? Is Disney trying to cartoonize Rachel Zegler, turning her into a nostalgic animated-like figure instead of letting her be herself? Let's be honest, Zegler has been at the center of controversy since day one, and now it almost seems like Disney is phasing her out. They're not just tweaking her image, they're practically sidelining her. Think about it. She's barely in the trailers anymore. And if they keep going at this rate, the next Snow White promo might not even feature her at all. Just CGI animals and dwarves running around. Now, here's the big question. Is Disney doing this on purpose? Is this some kind of malicious marketing move? Vash, what do you think? Man, malicious is a strong word. But there's definitely something going on here. Disney knows they have to appeal to an international audience, and they've been known to tweak things before. Just look at The color grading, Gal Gadot, who plays the evil queen, looks way darker in the poster than she actually is, while Zegler appears much lighter. And we know their natural complexions are pretty similar. So yeah, there's definitely some Photoshop magic happening. Exactly. Disney's been pulling these visual tricks for years, and this wouldn't be the first time they've adjusted things for international markets. The irony? This is the same company that constantly virtue signals about diversity and representation, yet here they are, seemingly going against their own messaging. And get this isn't even new. Latino Slant and That Park Place pointed out that Disney has done this kind of thing before, dating back to Hollywood's golden age. But never have we seen a company push diversity this hard, only to not stay consistent with it when it comes to global marketing. So what do you think? Is this just standard industry practice, or is Disney exposing its own hypocrisy? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Alright, something is definitely going on here. Malicious? Maybe not. But calculated? Oh, absolutely. Here's a fact most people don't know. Snow White is actually huge in China. Yeah, you heard that right. Out of all Disney properties, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs has a unique cultural appeal there. And this isn't just speculation, there are actual academic papers written on this phenomenon. Check this out. Back in 1938, when Walt Disney's first Snow White film was released in Shanghai, it was a massive success. Over 400,000 people watched it, and it made more than 7 million RMB across China. That's no joke. And when Disney built Shanghai Disneyland, they made sure Snow White was a central character in the storybook castle, because for a Chinese audience, Snow White's pale skin and dark hair can actually read as Chinese. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Some people are saying this international poster makes Rachel Zegler look more like the traditional animated Snow White, while others think there's something more calculated happening, specifically appealing to the Chinese market. Think about it. Just like how some anime characters look Japanese to a Japanese audience but appear white to Western viewers, Snow White's lighter skin and dark hair can be interpreted differently depending on the audience. And if Disney knows this, then tweaking her image in international marketing? Well, that's just another strategic move to maximize box office numbers. So, was this done intentionally to cater to China? Maybe. Was Disney at least aware that this would have an effect? Absolutely. And given their track record of making changes for international markets, especially China, it's not hard to believe they had this in mind when releasing the poster. Now, here's the real question. Is Disney just doing what any studio would do to appeal to global audiences? Or are they once again contradicting their own diversity messaging for the sake of profit? Let me know what you think in the comments. Alright, so let's be real. This isn't the first time Disney has pulled something like this. People are speculating about Snow White's international poster and whether Rachel Zegler's skin tone was deliberately lightened. And guess what? It's not a baseless theory. Disney has a long history of altering movie posters to cater to specific markets. Let's roll back the receipts. Remember The Little Mermaid? Look at what they did to Halle Bailey's poster for China. She was practically turned into a blue fish. Then there's Star Wars, The Force Awakens. John Boyega, one of the main stars, was shrunk down and pushed to the background on the Chinese poster. And let's not forget Black Panther. For Western audiences, Chadwick Boseman was unmasked, front and center. But for China, boom, full mask, completely hiding his face.